myself. Hi.
How's everybody doing?
Good. Just trying to, be the next TikTok star.
Yeah?
No.
Oh boy.
I'm not good at that.
Wait. Was it because of the song I played, or was it because
it was because of the song.
Okay, cool. I thought you were like literally trying to
I mean, I did post something on TikTok like an hour ago, but
yeah?
yeah.
Were you here when we were talking about that last time? I can't remember.
No.
I love it.
I think it's
can you hear me now?
so great.
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My audio is not coming through the way it should. Hold up. Yeah, I was poo-pooing TikTok, but I'm on board. I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, I think it's because, everybody's in quarantine. So it's all like people our age, like, in their late 20s, early 30s. It's not like.
Hey, wait a minute. All your age?
Well, me and Michael, how about that?
there is definitely there are hashtags of like TikTok in your 30s or something like that.
Oh yeah, like in your 30s, moms, everything. I love
so
that.
in your defense, specifically, there is like a discussion of people being in their 30s and like, why the hell are you on TikTok?
Yes.
Because the expectation is that that you're supposed to be like 15 if you're on TikTok.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. No ageism intended by. I mean, I guess TikTok I feel like is inherently ageist, right?
Yeah.
Just the fact that they're now letting us in says something.
My kids wouldn't let me get a Snapchat, so
they're not in charge of you.
Right.
They said they weren't going to friend me.
Inherently, by definition, by the nature of this discussion, you are a grown adult and you are clearly allowed to have a Snapchat account or a TikTok account or whatever the next cool, trendy, I don't know. We were talking about this with, was it Andrea just popped on? Was that with Andrea or was that with Heather? About how doesn't seem like there's yet any photographers that are like really capitalizing on it. I really would love someone to do something interesting other than the only things I've seen that are cool from a photography standpoint have been like studio photography behind the scenes stuff, which is inherently cool, but that's not what I do. And I'm not like super interested in seeing that. Right. If that makes sense.
Yeah. The only thing I've seen on TikTok is like, there's this guy who like randomly sees people and is like, hey, I bet you I can get a cool photo.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Except he stopped like a wedding couple, and I was just like, I don't know about that. I was just like, and the photographer's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lady that has really pretty red hair. I don't remember what her name is on there, but she does the same thing where she like will like stop people in public, but she never like intrudes on like any other like photographers, which is good, but she takes beautiful portraits.
Okay. If anybody has a lot of like ticky-tacky accounts, drop them in the chat because I want to follow some photo TikTok.
I'll have to find them.
That's okay. It doesn't have to be right now, and it can always be done later in the
group or something.
Event or in the group or in the event. Is it? Yeah. We'll talk about that later. But there's such a possibility with it because Brooke and I were like super obsessed with Vine. And there was just such a beautiful culture that happened around that. And it kind of like, it completely disappeared. And even the really good Viners are not coming back necessarily to TikTok. No. They killed that community. But I would love to see some of us, portrait photographers, not just studio photographers, getting out there and doing cool stuff with TikTok because I do think that because it's a young medium right now, anybody who does something inherently unique will blow up. And if you can crack this code, if you can crack TikTok as a portrait photographer, you will have 100K like that because it doesn't take much. But I'm not. That's not me. I have a hard enough time like wanting to get on camera here.
Right.
When it's like a grid of a bunch of people and just my face over on this one.
Oh, it's 3:30.
Hi, Sydney.
Hi.
Hi, Sydney.
There's a pair of balding eagles. Bald eagles near our house, My husband's like,
Whoa.
"Can I take your big lens and go?" And I'm like, "No, well, not without me."
This is really morbid, but the other day we were hiking and I saw just like I think it was an eagle, but it looked like it was just a big animal that looks like it could kill you, dead.
Oh.
I'd never seen that before and I was morbidly fascinated.
I have this thing about red-tailed hawks.
Okay.
I can spot them anywhere.
Me too.
My kids used to call me Hawkeye.
Oh, that's awesome.
Go down the road 4 hours. I'd see every bird within the highway. So,
Andrea, are you a birder?
No, but I have that same thing, and my husband makes fun of me because of
Really?
it.
see?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have. I just finalized an interview with. I don't know if anybody knows Katie Weaver. She's a portrait photographer out of Portland, Oregon, and she's just an incredible human being. And in her spare time, she like paints and is like obsessed with birding. So that's not something that I've had a lot of experience with, but she's super passionate about it, and I think I love when people are passionate about things that I have no knowledge of. So I don't remember off the top of my head when. Oh, I have the calendar. I can look at it. Oh, it's the next one. It's the 17th. So very soon. Very soon.
Cool.
Yeah. So it should be a good one. How's everybody doing?
Crazy.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm
Before we-
eating
before-
tacos and drinking beer while I'm hanging out with you guys.
I love it.
Oh, heck
So,
yeah, that's awesome.
sorry.
The only downside is you can't share.
Right. Why don't you
I guess
bring
it's downside for
some
me,
for the
not a
rest of the
downside for you.
class?
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't had anything to eat today yet. I'm starving.
So what is
You
she
can-
eating?
Tacos.
Tacos.
Sorry.
All right. So normally I would just kind of dive right in with Sydney, but I feel like I see at least 3 faces that I don't recognize and a 4th face that I do recognize, but I don't think we've seen before. So let's just do a quick like, yo, I'm Michael. I take pictures of human beings and I do this thing. Allen Photography and Photo Club are mine. And then we're gonna go around this circle on the grid that I see, not the grid that everybody sees. This is Hannah. It's not for you, but it is for me. Hi, Hannah.
Hi,
Who are you? What do you do?
I'm Hannah. I am in the process of transitioning from working normal jobs to doing photography full time. I take pictures of people. I'm from Traverse City. Well, I'm not from Traverse City, but I live in Traverse City. I don't know what else to say about myself.
Name of your business.
Well, the name of my business right now is Handgunned Pics. And the reason it's Handgunned Pics is because my grandma and I were trying to think of names, and it's like my name, but it also is like a handgun.
Okay.
Like, because you shoot with a camera and a handgun. So that's
Interesting.
kind of how we came up with it, but it's subject to change.
Right.
If I can think of anything better.
All right, Sydney. You don't know
Hi.
this, but you are to my right.
Oh, hello. I am to your right. My dog just came in. Okay. Bye, dog. Go away. So I'm Sydney. I own Sydney Marie Photography. I'm actually in Grand Haven, Michigan, so a few hours south of Traverse City. I mainly shoot weddings, and I'm gonna be teaching you some stuff today.
Also, this is a weird tangent. Do you know the ridiculous history of portrait photography and cane chairs?
No.
Like the chair behind you? I'm
Oh.
pointing behind you. Yeah, there's like I watched like a 45-minute documentary on like why that's like basically called a photography chair. Doesn't matter.
Weird.
Let's move on.
Why? Who would make a documentary about that?
It's YouTube. There's
That's true.
documentaries. I watched documentaries on the smallest most minutia. You know how many times I've watched like videos about like salt?
That's great.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I have a collection of chairs. I collect chairs.
Love it.
So
No shortage of places to sit at the Sydney House.
right.
Okay,
True.
directly below you is Hunter for me. Hi, Hunter. You want to say anything? You don't have to. Okay, that's Hunter. He's our resident like tech geek, photographer. If there's a computer thing broken with most of these systems, he usually knows. I'm a pretty good geek. I think he outclasses me by a few. All right, Shauna, you're below me. You don't realize it, but you're below me.
Okay. Shauna Campbell. I live in Holly, Michigan. I own the Master's Touch Photography. I mainly do seniors, but I do occasionally weddings, engagements, and family sessions. I do watercolor. I've had 5 years of art. So I think that contributes to some of my quirky compositions.
Cool.
That's it.
Cool. Alicia. Hi. You haven't been. I don't think you haven't been in here before, have you? Oh, I can't hear you.
Mute.
Hold on. Unmute. I got you. We both unmute at the same time. It'll remute. Mute. Hello.
Okay, is it good?
Yeah, you're there.
Okay, Harrison isn't here. He's the tech person.
It's okay. I got you. And
Cool.
if I don't have you, Hunter's got you.
Yeah, I'm Alicia. I own Alicia and Harrison Photography with my husband, Harrison. He's currently working his normal job, so he's in the basement doing that right now. But we do weddings, portraits, engagements. Yeah, we're in Grand Rapids. So we went to the photo walk in Grand Rapids, and we've just been kind of following along behind the scenes on the group.
Beautiful. Yeah, we did have at least one more plan for Grand Rapids this year, but everything's up in the air.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I do believe that we will be back on the road doing photo walks as soon as possible, but and I miss them. I feel like this is a really good secondary option, but man, I can only take so many pictures in my house.
Yeah.
All right, directly below you is Brittany Carpenter. Hello, Brittany Carpenter.
Hi.
You're very quiet.
Okay. Sorry. Let me see.
It's okay. You can just speak up.
My daughter's napping.
Oh, then don't worry about it. We can hear you.
I'm Brittany. I'm in Kalamazoo. I mainly do weddings and portraits. I have Paint My Mind Photography is my business name, and I have a 1-year-old, so she's asleep. So I'm probably going to be muted the whole time.
That's okay. Cool. And then to your left is Abigail.
I'm Abigail.
Hi.
My business is called Photos by Gail. As you can see behind me, Photos by Gail.
Beautiful.
I'm out of West Bloomfield, and I'm transitioning into doing, last fall, I was just doing a lot of seniors and maternity, all that kind of stuff, families, and now I'm trying to transition to a lot of weddings.
Beautiful.
So it's been quite interesting, yes.
Cool. And then Shelby is to your left. Hi, Shelby.
Hey, I'm Shelby. I'm from Detroit, and I am a wedding photographer. I know Sydney from Hustle and Flow, so I just popped in because I saw her story about this, so I'm excited.
Awesome. We were just, Sydney and I were talking before this, did you see it? You saw it on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like we've got a pretty decent following of people that come in from Facebook, because you can click a link or copy and paste something. But was it really annoying to be 7, 3, 1? No?
I mean, I thought it was fine. It was nice and clear that I knew what the code was to log right in, so I thought it was really easy.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Andrea, what's up?
Hey, I'm Andrea. I have Loom Photography. I live in Goodrich, which is southeast Michigan. But I used to live in Traverse City, and I miss it. And I shoot weddings and elopements.
And there's a really good recording of our conversation with Andrea last week. I don't know. Dates aren't a thing. Time is an illusion, more so than usual. So there was a moment in which we chatted, and it's on the internet. Go find it. James, you don't have to say hi, but you're next if you want to be here. I'll give you 10 seconds, and if I don't hear from you, I'm just going to move on. That wasn't 10 seconds. That's James. Hi, James. All right. Before we dive in, does anybody have any hello, I am James, and my photography business is called Digital Crumbs. I live in Stockbridge, Michigan. I tend to shoot portraits and nature photography. Thank you, James. Does anybody have any pressing things before we just kind of dive into GIFs, that they want to get off their chest, or things that have been like big and important to them?
I just wanted to ask Andrea something.
Okay.
Do you know the Linkowski family?
No.
They live in Goodrich. They're the ones that their daughter was killed in a car accident last
Oh,
year.
yeah. I don't know them personally, but I've seen, everything about them ever since then.
I'm their photographer.
Oh my gosh, how cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like everything that's gone on since then. I don't know their names, but like the girl that was on TV,
Genevieve.
yeah, she seems super nice, and that's cool she got to get as far as she did.
The whole family is just the bomb. They are so sweet, so caring, so loving.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if you knew them or heard of them.
Yeah, I've met so many people that are like, oh, my sister lives in Goodrich, or my best friend lives in Goodrich, and I'm like, I don't know anybody really here. We've been here 5 years, and like, I only know a handful of people.
Got it.
All right, let's jump in. So guys, just a bit of housekeeping. I'm going to mute everybody except for Sydney and I, and then eventually Sydney's just going to take over with the screen share and kind of we'll kind of start by just kind of going over kind of conversationally, and then we'll dive into the actual mechanics of creation, and then Sydney's got some cool stuff to show us. Let's mute. I'm gonna mute everybody. If you have a burning question, you're welcome to unmute yourself and just kind of speak up. Otherwise, everybody goes away. And Sydney comes back. We go like so. Sydney, can you say something so the recording grabs you?
Hello.
There you are. Cool.
Let's do this. I'm excited.
Say it again.
I said I'm excited. Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm stoked. So how long have you been playing with? Okay, we just need to get the most important thing. Like half of the people are going to turn off right after this because all they want to know, this is the most important thing. How do you pronounce this damn thing?
I go back and forth.
Okay.
Sometimes it's GIFS, sometimes it's GIFS. I don't care.
I don't care. And I looked it up. There is an interview with the engineer who developed the graphical image format, yes. GIF, that's what it stands for. And he says that because the G from graphic, that it should be GIF, but also that it's a cultural phenomenon, and so who the hell cares?
Right.
So the founder, the developer who invented the thing is like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You call it what you call it. I just, when I'm not thinking about it, I just call it GIFs, but I don't care. Let's do so.
Yeah, I don't care either, honestly. Because there's so many words that are like cultural things, like in the UK they pronounce things differently than we do here. Yeah. So to me, I don't care. I mean, I understand what you're talking about either way, unless you're like, I got some GIF out of the cupboard, then I'm like,
right, yeah.
Talking about peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Also, it's not a word, right? It's just like, it's an internet thing. I know at some point we need to accept that
it'll probably end up in the dictionary or something sometime.
I'm sure it already is. There's no way.
If it's not already.
The internet's not new anymore, right?
No.
Like, I still feel like some of us, like the olds, feel like the internet is like kind of still coming up, but like a lot of people have not seen the world without the internet.
Right.
All right. So how long have you been using? When did you first kind of started playing with GIFs?
So I started making like stop motion videos-ish, like short videos back in 2010.
Okay.
And it kind of evolved from there. And then once they kind of started getting in like popularity, then I started putting them into my business. And that was probably 2013, 2014, somewhere in there.
Dang, early adapter.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
I didn't say those were great, but it's a learning process.
For sure. With those early ones, you say stop motion video, were you using them were you doing stills, or were you shooting video, like clips of video? Okay. Gotcha. And so now, are these incorporated in your business model? Is this things that people like come to expect from you? Are these things that you just kind of like play with on your own? How does that work for your business?
So the way I have them in my business, like if you look at my website, they're very prominent, is because they are things that I do offer. I offer for monetary reasons, like a GIF video, which is more than, you know, like it's like 30, 40 GIFs put into a video. Otherwise, like I kind of just do them like, it's never expected, like it's not in my contract or anything like that unless it's the GIF video, but I do them for all my couples and all my clients because it's fun and it gives them something to share and me to share.
So this is a package. It's like 30 to 40 GIFs in a video. Is like a separate package that you offer.
Yep, it's an add-on for any photography package that I have.
So why not video? Why not just shoot actual video clips and give them that instead?
I don't know, because I have unsteady hands.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I have tendinitis in both my wrists, so like it would be really shaky and really bad. So
I started playing with them when I got my Fuji that's upside down. This has like a really fast burst because it's a mirrorless camera, and I found that by default it's set on like the highest burst speed when you pull it out the box, and I was accidentally shooting just like a ton of stills, and I started experimenting with that and really enjoyed how that looked versus I for whatever reason
I like the look of it too.
I couldn't care less to shoot video, right? Like I don't know why it is, but video does not draw me in. And that's obviously like a personal aesthetic and a personal decision for everybody. But for me, I just noticed that there's something about that, like that stilted sort of like stop motion-y effect, that whether it's because it glosses over my technical limitations on video, or there is something actually like more interesting about that to me than just straight up video. I don't know.
Well, with video, you can make cinemagraphs, which is like the same thing as a GIF. It's just you're doing it with video.
Backwards, right?
Yeah, but GIFs are just way easier.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like cinemagraphs are video become stills, and GIFs are like stills become video.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it without getting too technical.
Not technical at all.
Yeah.
It's just garbage.
I mean, I applaud people that make cinemagraphs, but I don't have the patience for it. It's just easier for me in my mind to be like, all right, I'm making a GIF of this, you know, get the couple or whoever to do the pose, to do whatever I want them to do, and then I'm good.
I have for years wanted to experiment with cinemagraphs and haven't. So maybe now's the time. I've got a little bit more time right now sitting at home. But yeah. Okay. Moving on. So this package that you have, this video that this is a separate package. This is something you're charging for, correct?
Yes.
But none of your other packages, they are like expected. You just kind of like, you're playing with them, like they come out if you want to, but otherwise they're just, sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't.
Right. I usually at least do like one or two, but I can't always guarantee that every single GIF is going to turn out. So like, it's one thing, like when they have like the video, then I know at least I need to shoot at least 40-ish GIFs just in case, like, you know, one or two don't turn out.
Interesting. That's really interesting. I ask because I know when I started playing with them, like I said, when I got the Fuji, which was like last summer, and I originally bought that camera as a personal camera, just it wasn't intended to come out on shoots with. But after about a week, I missed carrying it, and so I was bringing it to shoots. Originally, I started like bringing it to shoots, but not using it because it like wasn't professional enough. And then I would like pull it out and use it and like those images just as much as my full frame images. So I caught myself shooting GIFs for people, even though like they weren't expecting them. So I wonder if you had this, because it's a different technique, because it is like, for me at least, I have to like switch my mind into like, instead of stills, I am thinking in terms of motion, in terms of essentially terms of video. Do you find that by taking something that is like a fun experimentation and offering it for money, that you're I don't know the exact word to say, do you find that you're like, I don't want to say cheapening it, but like making it an expectation as opposed to being experimentation?
I don't necessarily think that. I mean, I've only had like one couple for this year added on. So I mean, it's
Okay.
not something that it's like everybody's doing it. And it's like I said, it's not in my contract or anything like that, so it's not
Right.
expected unless they specifically like request.
Yeah.
You know, then I'm like, okay, I got to keep that in the back of my mind because I do want to give them some. But yeah, it's definitely not expected or anything like that from any of my couples. It's kind of more or less like they know I do it, but it's kind of like a surprise almost when I post them.
Right.
So I just like to give it more of as like, here's something awesome, share it with all your friends and family.
Yeah, I love little things like that in business. Like for a long time, I got out of the habit of it last year just because, and this will come back into the question I just had, which is, I know that personally I need something in my business to constantly be experimenting on that is like novel and fun and new, whether it's gifts, whether it's, like I was saying, last year I was doing a lot of like Polaroid images for my couples. Specifically at weddings, and I wouldn't tell them that it was coming. And I have an SX70, which is like it's like a vintage Polaroid camera that collapses really, really tiny, and it just fits like just about anywhere. It's really convenient that I have all these cameras back here. And so I would carry this in my backpack, not in my like shoulder bag, but in like the backpack that I carried to a wedding. And I would shoot maybe 5 or 10 of them, and a couple times I would like say goodbye to the couple and like slide it into the groom's coat, not without him noticing. And then like the next morning he would like put it on and find them. And so anything I can do to like experiment and play and kind of offer these like additional kind of like surprises to people, I find really valuable. And for me, this past season, it was gifts. And I did notice that those were the things that my couples were sharing, which was, and part of it was that like I was stoked to go edit them. So like the day of the wedding, I'd be like back in like my basement in my studio or my my home office, like really quickly like putting them together, and then give them like 3 photos and like 10 gifts. So maybe that's why. But I'm gonna put this in the description or in the chat to remind myself to do this. But we shot like a Harry Potter themed, like inspired, not themed, wedding this past year, and it was so ridiculously magical. And my entire teaser to the couple was in GIFs because it felt that
awesome.
that like moving picture sort of like photos come to life thing, and it felt very, very Harry Potter.
I did that with I had a Game of Thrones inspired wedding, and
Ooh.
I have a few of those GIFs to show. So
yeah,
they're fun.
Awesome. Well, before we dive into the technical side, is there anything that you want to like discuss with people? Anything you want to like share about them or anything like?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
Honestly, like I feel like they're really easy to make, and that's why I'm doing this, is to show people how to make them. But you can really put them in any part of your business. You know, it doesn't have to necessarily be like weddings, which is like obviously mostly what I do. Like you can offer them to seniors. You can offer them as like headshots. Business headshots. There's so many different places that you can put GIFs in your business that can really like boost you, because like everything's all about like Instagram and social media nowadays. So having that like little extra, like something that like your clients can share, you can share, is definitely like huge. And you can,
Awesome.
Does anybody have any questions before we go on?
Ooh, that's a good one.
So make sure nobody's
physically raise your hand if you have questions. Otherwise, I got you up on grid. Yes, Shauna.
So they're little mini videos?
Yes. You'll understand. I'll show you a bunch of them. So you'll understand when I start to show you.
Because it's kind of hard to follow because it's terminology I've never heard before. I don't mind admitting that. So
no, that's really good to know. So yeah, we'll a good point. We'll dive into what they actually functionally are before we go into the technique.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Alicia wants to show us something.
Alicia.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I just want to show you, I found this yesterday. Our wedding photographer made this for us. So I don't know how she did this, but this might be an idea. It moves. So it's me and Harrison, but it's like a moving
Cool.
Yes, that's GIF Pop. I've used them before, but they recently, like, I just checked their website like a few days ago and their website's down.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't know if they stopped making them
Maybe.
or
Interesting.
if, you know, like they're just down because of Corona. I don't know. So I was going to
Yeah.
email them and see like what's going on because I love them because that's so cool.
Yeah, I just
I
found it
adore
yesterday. I was
that.
like, I'll have to show them.
Is
Cool.
Sydney, did I spell it right? GIFPOP?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Cool. Well, unless there's anything else, guys? Nah, let's dive in.
All right. So
So do
I'm
you
going to
want
start screen sharing and I'm going to show some of my older things that like stop motion-y things. And then I'll show some of my newer stuff just to give everybody kind of a feel of like what's going
perfect.
on. Awesome. So let's share screen. All right. So this is a stop motion that I made like in college. So it's like really horrible quality. But pretty much all it is just stop motion of like color. These ones are a little bit long, but another one I did was like one of me just like walking in my backyard being ridiculous. So, I mean, these were back in like 2010, so it's been a while. So I mean, this is all just stop motion, really easy. All right, enough of that. So let's get into more of the fun stuff. So, see, this is a GIF from the, this is actually up in Castle Farms. Can everybody see it though? I just want to make sure.
I think it's frozen.
Okay.
I'm still
I
seeing
don't
the
see it.
jump rope.
Okay. Because I think it's because I switched screens. Hold
Oh
on.
yeah. Yep.
There we go.
There we go.
Awesome. So this is one from Castle Farms. Let's see, I should just be able to. So these are newer GIFs that I've made of weddings. And this was a business. They make cannolis. So it's really, you can put it into anything.
Oh, that's great. That's so good.
So the way I do a lot of my GIFs is that I have, I kind of give them like a prompt or something to do. But that's a lot of my photography and how I do things as well. So it's just kind of like more of a natural flow for me. And then some of them like this one, this is all just candid. Here's another candid one. You know, it's just capturing moments as they happen. And just turning them into GIFs.
Man, I really feel you guys can still hear me, right? Even though she's screen sharing.
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you.
I just love how, first of all, it's making me really miss my wedding season. Like,
I know.
in an era where like I should be starting to think about this already, it makes me like really want to get out and shooting with my couples. Second of all, it's really like I love photography. You know, as I said before, like I just love photography more than video in general. But there is something really beautiful. I feel like this is like a really nice halfway point between video and stills, where it feels like a still photograph, but it still is capturing like more than an individual moment. Which I don't feel like my stills definitely don't do that. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, definitely.
Interesting. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So, now that I showed you some of my GIFs, I guess I should explain how they work. So when you in your camera, You have to set your camera to like a burst mode, which I believe is like CH or CL, depending on what your camera is.
What is
And you just
CHCL? Sorry.
the settings on your camera.
What kind of camera are you using?
I have the one I mainly use for GIFs is a Nikon D750.
Okay. So Canon just has like a burst mode.
Okay. So
There's no like
Canon, it would just
C8.
be burst.
Yeah, it's like high speed capture. I don't remember. I got my Fuji right here. Fuji is literally just continuous. So some version
Yeah,
that
some
when you hold
version
down
of
the shutter,
continuous is what you're gonna wanna. Yeah, because I think for Nikon it's like low and high. I believe is what the CH and the CL is stands
continuous
for.
high, continuous low. That's what
Yeah.
that is probably.
So either one is totally fine. I would prefer the higher because then you'll capture like better motion with it. But yeah, that's the setting, and it's just continuous, and you just hold down your shutter, and then it stops. So that's the easiest way to, make a GIF in camera. And then let me pop up. So the way I start my GIFs is I open the files in Bridge, because then I can select them. So this is one GIF. So then I go to Tools, Photoshop, and then load files into Photoshop layers.
Mm.
And that will load up here. All right, so I got everything's all loaded down here at the bottom. And what I do is I select all layers. And then I auto align the layers. And auto aligning just gets rid of like any like movement or anything you did in camera. Because like I said, for me personally, when I am shooting, I'm not the most like steady person. So auto align kind of saves me on that. So then it gives you that more like clean and crisp look.
Almost like it's stabilized.
Right. So I do create frame animation. Make frames from layers. For some reason, you always have to reverse them. I don't know why it does that, but
Interesting.
select all frames. I usually put mine for like 13.13 seconds.
And for those that have not done this before, the timeline panel will not be up by default. And so you do need to make sure that you go into Windows and add the timeline tool. For a lot of people that have not dealt with any sort of like time-based media in Photoshop, you'll probably be surprised to see the timeline function, but it is there.
Yes, this is Photoshop, and like you said, I always have my timeline up because I do so many GIFs, but yeah, it's just window and then timeline.
And depending on the version of Photoshop, it shouldn't really matter. Timeline's been there for quite a while.
Right. Yeah, I want to say, I don't know, like I had like
Before CC, I think.
Yeah, CS3 I think's had it, so because I think that's what I started on in high school with CS3.
Oh, cool. So Brittany Carpenter said, I think the timeline pops up automatically when you go to load all of the frames and do this process.
It might.
That's good to know.
That is good to know.
That would be smart of them.
Right, that would be super smart because obviously you're not loading in a bunch of layers just for nothing.
So then can you talk about why you cropped or why you had to crop?
Yes. So undo it real quick. So with the auto align, you know, images aren't exactly, you know, the full edge anymore. So just cropping just kind of gives it a cleaner look and also makes it nicer. So then now that I cropped it, I can just hit play, and there is a little bit on each side that I just have to fix. But otherwise, it's pretty well good.
So Brittany Carpenter just asked, how do you crop them all at the same time? Go ahead.
It just does it automatically.
Well, because you're cropping the canvas, you're not cropping the individual photos.
Correct.
So on the timeline, what's happening is that for the first frame, it's just showing the first photo in that, it's showing the first layer on the same canvas. So you're not actually cropping individual photos, you're cropping the canvas.
Right. Yeah, so you're just cropping them, because this is like think of it as like a project. This is your project, so you're just cropping everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I just did a second crop real quick, and then it's good. So easy enough with that. And then for saving, you can't just like save GIFs like you save images. You go to export and then save for web legacy. And this part does take a little bit, so.
It's fine. It's a quarantine. We don't have anywhere to be.
Right. We don't have anywhere to go. You know, we're all in quarantine, so we have all the time in the world for Photoshop to load all these images all together. And then with all my images, everything's already edited when I make my GIFs. So what I do is like through a wedding day, I specifically know where I made a GIF. So I will upload them with all my culled images and just edit them and then export them in large file sizes, because there is a lot of compressing of the images when you make a GIF. So the larger the file size, the better. So this is my GIF. I always save 1500 pixels for the wide side, because that works for most websites, and also it's small enough that it will actually load pretty well. Anything else, you'll have a hard time finding places that will upload them, and they'll be kind of slow.
Mm-hmm. So as with any photos, you're balancing file size and image quality, but specifically, it's also true that the longer they are, the bigger they'll be.
Yes.
So you have to balance all three of those parts and pieces. Like you might get to a certain point where you can't just put 1,000 frames in there at full resolution and expect Facebook or Instagram to load those up well.
Right. And definitely like for sharing on Facebook and Instagram, I would upload them to Jiffy, and then you can share them and download them that way.
Can you spell that?
It is let me see here. Like, let me think about it.
Is it GIFFE or something like that?
It is GIFFE, I think. Let me see.
GIFFE?
GIPHY.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. It's
So
just
I had to think about it. I was just like, I don't know.
Is it Giphy.com?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yep, that's the site that you'll get like most of like your GIFs from Facebook are on there. All the good memes and everything.
Oh yeah. So Brittany asked, do you just use each photo that you took during the continuous shoot, or do you cull some of them out?
It depends. Like I've had ones that sometimes I'll end up making a shorter GIF because like I had a wedding that for some reason there was a child that ran in front of me during when the couple was, coming down the aisle. So I kind of had to like make that GIF shorter. But most of the time it's just the whole series and just letting things happen.
Right.
But yeah,
But
I
you
don't.
probably don't want to be culling out of the middle, because anything that you pull out of the middle is going to make it look like it has like a frame skip, or like it's going to make the animation less smooth, correct?
Right. Yes. You just take off like the beginning of the end. Sometimes like in a lot of GIFs that I make, like the first 2 frames don't line up with the rest of them. So then I just delete those first 2 frames and call it good.
I've noticed that too, and I will catch myself when I'm culling, thinking that I have the full start to finish animation, but I really have like 2 extra on the end when the buffer filled, and they spaced out weird. So it's very fluid, and then it like hiccups, and then
Right.
I'll usually just trim those off.
Yeah.
So Andrea asked, so for uploading them to Instagram, use Giphy. Is that correct?
Yes. Either that or find a like you can use like a GIF to MP4 uploader, like
Yep.
online. You can use that too. A lot of your online stuff, like you can make GIFs online too, but they're not as smooth. So when
Gotcha.
you're using those uploaders, they're not. They're really compressing even more so. So
Gotcha.
your GIFs will get very like grainy and weird. So it's just easier just to upload them to Jiffy, and then Jiffy sends you a link to download the MP4.
Cool. Yeah, because I know Instagram doesn't actually allow GIFs, so you do have to
Right.
convert them to a movie.
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right. So we did that. So I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to show you a little shortcut that I made to make making GIFs a little quicker. So, all right. So same thing in Bridge, and then Photoshop, load file into Photoshop layers. So it's going to open a new one up here. Eventually.
Loading. Loading.
Almost there. So close. All right. So here
What's
is
the
my
most and least amount of photos you would use for a GIF?
I've done 2 images as a least. It's not great, but it's something.
Okay.
And the most I think I've done is like 40 to 50 images.
Whoa. And one would be
Um,
absurd, because that's
yeah,
just called a photograph.
pretty much. But like,
I could see the 2 working as some sort of like bounce back and forth, maybe like a before and after or something like that.
right. Yeah. With like, because what you can do with and I'll show you in a moment, you can actually copy and paste the photos, so you can make it as long as you want. So all right. So I made an action in Photoshop to make making GIFs way easier, because I make so many of them and I'm lazy. So I made this one, and all I do is just click play, and it does everything for me.
That's cool.
Yes. So this takes a lot less time than what we just did. Minus the aligning the layers, that still takes just as long.
Right.
But my big thing was I wanted to streamline making GIFs, because like I said, I do make quite a few. I probably make, with a normal wedding, it's probably about 5 to 6.
Okay.
So my GIF is done. All I have to do is crop.
Beautiful.
So that was it. So like
That's
I said,
so
it
much faster.
makes it so much easy, because it's ready to go. Just got to crop it.
That's so smooth. Yeah, mine look terrible.
It's okay. Like my 2013, 2014 ones were like really bad. So.
Well, I just mean that I've been using like the online ones, and they definitely look a lot chunkier.
Oh yes.
They look choppier and definitely much more compressed.
And that's definitely like the speed too. And that's why I said I've experimented with a lot of different speeds. And this
Yeah.
the 0.13 I think is like the best to make it like smooth.
Does the action automatically do that? The 0.13?
Yep.
Cool. And there's a lot of questions in the chat about whether or not you're going to include the action. This is something that you're going to be offering for sale, correct?
Yes.
Perfect.
But we are giving one away today.
Cool.
So for somebody in the group.
Randomly.
But yeah, so this is the GIF and it's all done.
Very
So
cool.
I just cropped it. Oop, and I just hit the wrong button.
And for the record, the for those that are not interested in purchasing, this stuff can still be done by hand. This is just a tool to kind of like speed up a workflow and kind of take some of the kind of like the grunt work out of things. So you're not, if you don't want to invest in it, it's not like you're completely out of luck.
Right. Like I've been doing them by hand for years. It was just something for me to make it easier.
For sure.
But that's why I always show like how to do it by hand, because it is pretty easy.
Right.
So in retrospect of like talking about copying the frames, like if you go to the little hamburger down here, you can copy and then paste frames. And I always do paste after selection. And
was
then
that copying the selection that you had, or was it copying all of them?
copying all of them.
Okay, interesting. Why would you do this?
Sometimes like for Instagram, I think they changed it now that you can, because I know Instagram for a while it was like your videos had to be 3 seconds.
Oh, so if you want to like you want to basically make it loop.
Yes.
Without just telling it to loop, so that the actual
and
video can be longer.
Like if I didn't reverse the frames, actually, like when I reverse the frames, it does it backwards. So you'll see it. So I mean that's the stylistic thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've done that before with like if I have like a wedding party walk towards me, as like a GIF, and then like I have it so it like they walk back and forth.
Yeah.
You know,
so then
it's
it's
a
got that
stylistic.
Yeah. It's got that bouncy like boomerang effect, which is really, and plus then you don't have it the end of the animation happen and it's just like a jarring transition to restart. No, I like that a lot.
Yes.
So someone just asked in the chat, I apologize for this question, but how do you make an action if it's a longer action or a longer answer? We can look it up after this. We might have time to go over that. It is a bit of a longer, or some kind of like not the focus of right now, but short answer is there's a little record button. Yeah. It's not really that hard, but there's a little bit more nuance to it than that. But it is just, record and then do all the things and then hit stop and then it will play it back.
Yes.
The hamburger thing. Go ahead, sorry.
It's kind of a pain when you make them because you have to be clear and precise about every single little thing that you do. Otherwise, like if you're like, oh, I have to hit undo, then you just have to restart over.
Yep. Yeah, I've done that plenty of times where you're like, man, I should just make an action out of this thing. And then you get going and you realize that like you're not very efficient at the task that you have at hand. And so you end up just like re-recording yourself like 40 times. You're like, now I should have just done it the first time.
Right.
Brittany asked, the hamburger thing up in the actions, if it isn't showing, go to Windows, Actions. There should be an option that says create action, a little record button.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, keep going.
Awesome. So, then we're already done with this shift. So we just be, the same thing. I said save as. Oops. So same thing is you go to export, save for web. And then I never mess with anything that's up here as far as like the transparency or anything like that. The colors are usually pretty fine. It's just the image size. That's all I change. And then you always want to hit original when it goes into the save, because the optimize, it's, in the 2 up and the 4 up, those are more compressed. So you're more likely to get all that grain and weirdness in the GIF.
Right. I didn't know that one. And for the record, transparency only really matters if one of the other uses of a GIF is that it has you can use a transparent background. So if you're making like logo work and you want the background to bleed into like your website. So it doesn't really matter here.
Yes. Yeah, Brittany, I think that's definitely a huge thing, is like the optimized ones always end up being super like, because you can kind of even see it in here. Like, I know this is a close up, but you can definitely see it's like really weirdly like pixelated.
Is that what dithering is? I've not really understood. Like in the GIF option, it has that dither. I assume it's something like that. That looks like dithering, even though I don't know what that means.
But like, you can kind of see it. It's kind of like,
Whoa.
yeah.
How optimized of you.
Yeah. So yeah, when you do optimize, sometimes they do like, it's really weird. So that's why I always go for original. Because then
Are
you
the
don't
file
have to worry.
sizes a lot bigger? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the optimized is, I don't know. Yeah, it's 100% dither. So I wonder. Let's see here. See if that changes anything. I don't think it will, but.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's not any better.
Nope.
So stick to original.
Yeah, let's just do that. We'll do what we know, not experimenting live.
Like I said, just changing the image size will change your file size. Like I said, the width I always do 1500. I find that works best for like my website, which is Squarespace, and also posting online. I find that like that size works best.
Right. I know I do 2048 on the long edge for photos. And that's not outside of the realm of, this being just a little bit smaller because we were dealing with time-based media as well.
And then when you save, you just leave format as image only in default settings, and then you just hit save.
Cool.
So it's super easy. And it's definitely a way to add a little bit of extra into your business, and it's just fun. Like like my clients love it. They think it's hilarious and fun. Like the drinking one, like the groomsmen decided to, shotgun a beer. So I was like, okay, cool. There's definitely a lot of different things that you can do with it.
I really want to have them do that and then just be like, oh, sorry, I didn't get that. Could you do that again for me?
That's funny. That'd be fun. Like,
yeah.
Can we do this one more time, please?
Depending on the couple, I'm sure somebody would be willing.
All right. And then, you don't have to necessarily always do a sequence. This is a little something that I made for Hannah for her birthday today.
Happy birthday, Hannah!
So happy birthday, Hannah. I just had her send me a few of her images, and I just kind of went in Photoshop and I just put happy birthday over it, and then I put them together using the action that I made.
That's awesome. Oh, by the way, it is Hannah's birthday today. So happy freaking birthday, Hannah.
And with that, Hannah, I'm going to give you my action for free.
Yeah.
Because you're awesome and you're always on all these calls.
Yeah.
I'm stop sharing.
And then Hannah, it would be awesome. I'd love to see you experiment with it and see what we can, like no pressure. It's your birthday.
No pressure at all.
But I'd love to see what you can accomplish with it, with the action set, to see kind of like if it helps you through the experimentation process. Ooh, fish. Set up your camera tripod, do a GIF of fish moving.
Yes, do it. That'd be
totally
awesome. I would love to see that.
That's exactly what I was just typing right when you said that. When she was doing the whole thing, sorry to unmute myself, but when she was doing it, I was like, oh my God, this would be so cool with fish.
Yes, I agree. And so this whole thing could be, so Hannah, we talked about in the Facebook group, I really dug those like super dark backdrop images with them, and we talked about kind of expanding it, the background. This would be really easy to create, like go through the labor, shoot the images, cull them, edit them, run the action, and then you could just easily like expand the canvas of that project and then drop a wider dark backdrop in there. And it'd be so cool to see them just kind of like moving kind of like in this empty void. I'm not gonna tell you how to do your business.
No,
That
I'm
because
gonna
that's
totally
because
try
that's
that.
because that's your
I'm so
business.
excited.
That's so
That'll be
cool.
That's so
cool.
fun. I love that. Um, and
We should
then
have a gift contest
yeah,
or like challenge. I don't.
yeah,
Why
let's
did
do
we
it.
not think of this?
I don't know. I think I did, but
You probably
Ooh,
did.
I was thinking
You
about
probably
that, and
did tell me this. I
then
forgot.
probably
Yeah.
doing one of the challenges being doing GIFs, and then also you know, eventually if we're out of quarantine in August, you know, I'm gonna be up in Traverse City, so I figured it'd be kind of fun to do a photo walk and then show people how I do them in
Yeah.
person.
A gift walk.
Because obviously this isn't sharing like how I'm photographing them. This is just
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
sharing the post processing of it. So
For sure. Fish.
fish.
I just read my own. Happy Womb Escape Day.
It was
That's
removed.
amazing.
I call
What's
it
it? Hold on.
removal day. I was a C-section, so
Yeah. Womb Escape Day. That's hilarious. Hunter, you funny. Okay. Focus me. Sydney, is there
Yes.
anything else that we need to know about this? Is there anything else that you want to say about like the shooting of, or?
I mean, just experiment and have fun with it. That's what I always do.
For sure.
It's just, I mean, you can even, you know, capture your cats or dog or whoever else, you know, like.
Or the dust bunnies rolling along your
Yeah,
knob.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of things you can do in quarantine, you know, like I posted one, I don't remember if it was in the group or if it was in the actual call post, but I posted one of a little like animated camera or little
Yep.
camera toy that I had. You can literally do anything if you have movement.
For sure. Something I've noticed is that just for the aesthetic that I like, mine tend to feel more successful if I can like either stabilize the camera or like, you know, put it on a tripod, like put it on some like just a solid surface, or just like lock my hands so that I'm not doing any like extraneous movements. But how I've also like done them where where's my camera? There's my camera. Where like I've done them on the dance floor where you like start up high and you just start recording as you go down, and then you do that kind of like bounce back and forth effect. So you don't, I mean, as with everything in photo, there are rules, there are guidelines that are totally meant to be broken and destroyed. So you start with like, yeah, it makes sense to keep everything kind of tight and locked in, but then screw that. Throw your camera around. Maybe put on a timer. Oh, you couldn't do that. Like you could.
You can do a timer.
Well,
I
but you couldn't.
one.
Can you do a burst timer?
So the easiest way, I don't know about Canon because I shoot Nikon, but with Nikons you can do self timer, and it's like 2 seconds in between each image, I think is the lowest you can go. So I posted one that it was me with confetti. That was all self timered, and you just, as long as you're doing it quick enough, it usually works. Yeah.
There's also a device, and I can never pronounce this word. It's like videography. Are you supposed to pronounce the O? I don't know. But there's like an introvometer. Sounds like vomit. Which is it's like a really fancy remote that has timer settings, and you can set them. I bought one years ago to try to do like astrophotography, and you're supposed to like set it up for like 30 minutes in between each still photo. But I'm sure you could drop that down even tighter and have it do like, you know, every 1 second or something like that.
Right.
Team Nikon. It's okay. I won't judge anybody. I like my Canons, but I'm actually like not brand loyal at this point anymore. I just feel like I really like my Fuji for my personal camera, and I think the Sonys are kind of interesting. I don't know. Yeah. I used to be Canon. It's okay. It's okay.
I like both. I just shoot Nikon now.
For sure. What brought you to Nikon?
I got a really good deal on my Nikon.
That'll do it. Brittany, what were you were saying you were similar. What does that mean? I'm unmuting you.
I'm not loyal.
Oh yeah. What do you quote unquote shoot?
No, I shoot Canon, but I've definitely considered switching if I wasn't so invested already.
Yeah, everybody's all like, I guess I should say at the end of last year, I feel like everybody was talking. I'm gonna go back to grid. So I mean, if anybody wants to unmute themselves, you're welcome to. I feel like everybody at the end of last year was really contemplating jumping over to Sony, but I like them okay. I feel like their images tend to be very like clinical and like sterile, and I have to like edit some imperfections back into them. Sydney, is there anything else that you want to impart upon us?
That's really about it. I mean, unless anybody has any questions about like making GIFs or like why they're important or anything like that. I think I went over the basics of everything and all that.
Oh, you're gonna be selling your file?
Yep, the action that I'm selling, it's $20 because we're all in quarantine and I want everybody to have fun. So
For sure.
Are you gonna
Cool.
post a link to purchase that?
yes, I can post a link. I'll do that in the group for the call.
Cool. I'm writing this
Or
in the notes.
message me if you're not in the group.
Cool. So that brings me to another idea that we've been throwing around. I've been chatting with a few people, and I basically am gonna I'm experimenting with creating like a marketplace through like the Photo Club site. Sydney, this is not putting you on the spot. You're not required to do this by any stretch, but I want to showcase in this space things that people can places like things that you can invest in to kind of like grow your business, grow your creativity. So I'm actively looking for people who do have something like an action or a preset or something that they want to come on and kind of like share with us. So expect more of those kind of things as we all kind of navigate this weird quarantine world together.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys? Any questions? Any thoughts? Anybody want to talk about anything? Doesn't have to be this. Doesn't even have to be photo. If you're bored and you want to talk about, I don't know.
Who's
Sourdough
watching
thing right
Tiger
now.
King?
Oh, you're watching it now?
Yeah.
It's a wild ride.
Yeah. Wait, Andrea, are you done with it, or are you not?
No, I'm like halfway through it.
Okay, it's not normal. It's weird. It's insane.
It's not normal.
Also, our president just threatened to. Oh no, I can't even say that because that might be a spoiler. No, wait. I don't know. I can't remember what is or isn't a spoiler. But Netflix is threatening to offer or to like record one more episode.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I want to tell you about it, but I don't want to tell you. You just need to see it.
Yeah.
It's unreal. I do remember him running for president. I remember watching like The Daily Show or something, and them like riffing on this like crazy redneck down in I want to say Florida, but it's not Florida. It's like Oklahoma or something, right?
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And, he was running for president, and his what did he say? I'm not gonna remember. I don't remember.
It's hilarious. It's very entertaining.
It's very entertaining. Anybody else watching anything else that I need to catch up on?
I've been watching Ozark for the first time. I feel like everyone's watching that already, though.
Yeah, we're watching that. We're on the second season right now.
I watched maybe the first, and I loved it, but here's who I am. I can only watch so much gritty, intense, nail-biting drama. Like I love like Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Ozark was incredible, but at a certain point, I just need to catch up on like something much dorkier and much more like lighthearted. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I just finished. Here's my geek coming out real hard. I just finished Steven Universe and Adventure Time.
Yeah.
Bawled, cried like I haven't cried. Maybe it's just like the pent up quarantine feelings, but I'm like tearing up. Steven Universe is like my favorite thing on the planet. For those that haven't watched, a superpowered, gem-powered, half human, half alien, whose superpower is empathy and kindness. Sounds way less entertaining than it is, but it is some of the best storytelling and writing you will ever see. And Adventure Time is coming back apparently.
I love Adventure Time.
Really?
That's interesting.
Yeah, HBO ordered up 4 short series. They're like 1 hour each, and they're like set in the future, essentially.
Sweet.
Michael, I highly recommend watching. Go on Netflix and just search if you like stand-up comedy at all. Go on Netflix and just search like stand-up specials, and a bunch will come up, and that's what's like keeping me sane, because I've been watching a bunch of like intense stuff and I can only handle so much of it. And so I've been just like watching like a couple episodes of Mindhunter or whatever I'm watching, and then I go and watch like a stand-up special and just have it in the background, and it's keeping me
Ooh.
sane.
What
So-
ones have you watched that are good?
Oh my God, I've watched like all of them. There's one, I don't remember her last name, but her first name is Jenny, and she was in
Jenny Slate?
Parks and Rec. Yeah, and that one is
she's
hilarious.
incredible. She's incredible.
If you haven't seen that one, you should watch it. It's hilarious.
I watched a lot of them. I'm a pretty big stand-up fan.
Me too.
I listen to a lot of stand-up or comedians podcasts.
Me too.
You Made It Weird with Pete Holmes is like my religion. He is like the dorkiest. I'll put that down. He's just like some like goofy guy from like the Midwest or wherever he's from, and is like not LA. But then I've been listening to him for like 7 years or something like that, and to slowly watch him get consumed by the LA lifestyle is pretty incredible. All right, what else have you been watching, listening to?
Oh, Monty Python's Flying Circus is on Netflix.
Oh, are you serious?
Oh yeah.
That's amazing.
So that's what we watch in between Ozark episodes.
That's great. You need your like gritty, like high stakes adventure, and then be like, no, we're gonna watch some like ancient British comedy.
Yes, it's amazing.
I'm never not watching The Office. Just like it's kind of a slow trickle through that, and like Bob's Burgers are like kind of always running in my house.
Yeah, same.
So those, although Office is like leaving, right?
What?
The Office is like leaving.
It was supposed to leave earlier, and then quarantine happened, and I think they kept it on for longer or something. I'm not sure.
That is like the ultimate kindness that our media overlords could give us.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
also,
incredible.
just for you guys to know, if anyone likes Taco Bell, they've been doing these commercials that just reminded me. They're doing everyone gets a free Doritos Locos taco today if they go to Taco Bell.
For no reason?
For no reason.
Wow.
Okay.
So go venture out and get a taco.
Blessed day.
All right, guys, anybody working on anything? Anybody have any fun projects that they're experimenting with other than just devolving into insanity?
I'm like trying to get online workshops going.
Yeah. Wait,
It's a lot of work.
consumption or curation?
Curation.
Creation. What can I ask? What platform you're working on?
Right now on my computer. I haven't picked one yet.
Gotcha.
There's like a couple different ones that I'm looking at.
I've experimented with most of them for the classes that we're working on for Photo Club. So we'll talk off this. I'm sure we'll have some. I've dealt with like Teachable and Skillshare and a bunch of other ones that are all over the place. So
cool.
Yeah, as a plug, a lot of that stuff is forthcoming. We've been working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes for self-directed classes, mentor sessions, one-on-one stuff, small group learning. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be. Brittany, I'm on Skillshare right now, watching a bunch. Cool.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, I just saw that D&D is doing like online. They have like online stuff for people, like to get them into it without having to gather with a bunch of people.
Okay, who plays D&D here? Does anybody? I don't, but I want to. And I've wanted, like, we've had discussions at the end. So most of the photo walks, we end up staying like 30 to an hour later. And it's just like a smaller group. And we end up talking about like how we can make this community even stronger. And one of the talks that we had before all this went down was like, how do we capitalize on this cool, interesting community of people and do other things with it? So we were going to like break off and do, this is one of the things that would have been a break off of it would be like, let's just hang out on the internet. But D&D came up really early. Like, let's get together. We're all just photo geeks. Let's just be real geeks. Andrea, we should probably talk about how we can make us all play D&D together because I've never played. I have my buddy is a huge fan and gave me his like guidebook or whatever to help me make a character. and he did say he would DM, which I understand is like kind of the hardest thing to get is a DM.
Yeah, definitely. I would totally DM as long as I don't have to DM.
Cool. And for those that don't know what that is, it's okay. We can fill you in, or you can. I don't know. I feel like. No, I was gonna say I feel like people should just try it, but I say that, but I've never played, so I have no idea. It might be terrible. No idea. More
It's
things.
fun.
Give me more fun things you're working on.
So besides the GIF action, I'm actually working on doing like a whole workshop, talking like going through and doing kind of like what we did today, as well
Cool.
as like different tips and like my main poses that I use for a lot of my GIFs and things like that.
Beautiful.
And just kind of doing like a big package.
Cool.
Is that's all online?
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. Anybody else? Abigail, what are you doing?
I'm still trying to perfect my website. I've completely changed it over the past month or two. I made my first blog yesterday.
Ooh, that's exciting. Wait, did I see you post about that on Instagram?
Thank you. What did you say?
Did I see you post about that on Instagram?
Yes, I did. I was posting a lot about it, trying to hype people.
Yeah, it's hard, right?
Yeah.
Wait, were you the one that asked if people read blogs anymore?
Yes. Yeah.
What ended up being the percentage on that?
90% of people read blogs.
Interesting.
And honestly, I'm not one of those people, so that's why I was so surprised.
I'm the same way. I'm like this weird, like, because I feel like I'm constantly creating. I don't, other than just like The Office, I don't feel like I consume enough. And so maybe we need to create some sort of like, I don't know, like Instagram pods were a thing. Maybe we need to create like a blog chain. I don't know if there's a name for that, where like we just share each other's blog posts and like go comment on things or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm in a
What's that?
group that does that. They do it like twice a week, and
Oh, really?
just like it's just a Facebook group, and what they do is just like it's like blog post Monday, and everybody goes and puts their blog post down, and then you just have to like comment on like 10 of them.
Interesting. Do you find it useful? Do you find it to be like a chore?
No, not really. I mean, it takes like 15 minutes, if that,
Gotcha.
And it's nice seeing like other people's work and seeing what other people are blogging about.
Right.
So I like that aspect of it. I also blog a lot, so
I need to blog more.
I'm the crazy blog person who blogs like 6 times a week, so
Wow, that's impressive.
it is.
I don't know how. Well, if you need more blogging to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about like content and just trying to figure out like what you want to blog about. Like obviously your sessions, anything past, 2019, 2018, blog it. Tips are a big thing.
Yeah.
Like 5 tips for doing this, 5 tips for doing that. That's like huge. Throw it on Pinterest.
My biggest problem is because when we were like a couple years ago, we were working at such a high volume that I was shooting so often that I felt like I was creating some of the best work of my life and I was not getting it out there enough. Like I would end a shoot and have like 40 just gorgeous, beautiful, mind-blowing photos. And I would post like 1 to Instagram and then I'd be like on to the next set because I'm like already bored of that. It's over. So I've got content for days. I need to go back and just actually like.
There you go. This is the time to do it, and you can schedule it.
I know, but I decided instead of blogging to create like an online thing that you may have heard of where we all hang out and do video chatting, and it takes a lot of my time. Yeah. So
I never thought about that.
Not complaining. I love this. I mean, I did this to myself.
Yes, I do website reviews too.
They're awesome. Have her do it for you. If you're trying to perfect your website, she helped me so much. It was so nice to get like someone else's, like another set of eyes on it because I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm also a perfectionist. So hit her up.
Hannah and Abigail, can you guys drop your URL in the chat so we can see it?
Yeah, but I'm still working on mine, so don't judge it yet.
It's okay. I just want to see what we're working with.
I still have Sydney. Don't look at it because it doesn't have all the stuff you said to do yet.
Okay, I won't look at it. I'll pretend it doesn't exist.
But I'll let you know when it's done. I'm
Okay,
just
I can't wait.
All right, Shelby, what you working on?
I'm
Anything?
redoing my website too. I've like totally rebranded. I got my branding videos back this week, so I'm like uploading those to my website and then planning out a launch week. So I've been like filming video content for a YouTube channel. So I'll have like day one will be releasing my videos, day 2 releasing my website, day 3 releasing mentor sessions, day 4 will be releasing the YouTube channel.
That's exciting. Do you?
Yeah.
Is the YouTube channel? Is it? What's that?
Her new branding is amazing.
Was it secret, or do we get to see it?
I can share the website. It's like not all done yet.
Yeah.
What is my website? I'm like changing my name and everything, so I have like multiple URLs. That's my website. Photo.com.
I want to see.
Oh, and you have to do /home to actually see it.
Oh, gotcha. Nope.
No. Let me see.
Is it? Nope.
It's not set up for mobile yet, so if you're on your phone, it will look wonky.
No, it's not showing up for me at all.
Weird.
Try copying this. It's okay. Everything's a work in process. Oh wait, it worked. I recopied it. I just copied yours. Did not do the like paste in /home. Ooh. Do you mind if I put this on screen?
Go for it. I just had a website critique earlier this week, so I have lots of homework to like redo. But if you guys have any comments, let me know. So I'm working on it.
I love the monochromatic start.
Yeah.
I love the
Beautiful.
moons.
Yay!
Yeah, those are great.
Oh, it's so pretty.
I know it says book and inquire. That will change. It'll be like my photo booth in the middle instead.
Gotcha. Oh look, a GIF.
Cool.
Oh, cute. I love it.
No, this is really solid. Yeah, we had so the first one of these that we have up on YouTube, the first quarantine call we have up on YouTube. I was Randall, the one who did the photo club branding, and we're going through the branding for AKP next, and I'm so stoked. I'm a little nervous because we decided. Oh, gotta stop. Where am I? There I am. I forgot I was sharing my screen. We're going through a total rebrand for our photo work as well. And I'm nervous but excited because we're going like a lot more bold than before, because our current stuff is very like kind of clean and clinical.
Yeah.
I guess I'll pull. This is the current. You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think because I'm recording, the connection is really slow. Like my logo like isn't even showing up here, or it's like doesn't even fit here because it doesn't like our logo is very boxy, current one, and so there's just like no space for it up there. So don't even have the logo on the website, and so yeah, the stuff is like very clean and clinical now. I'm still not dissatisfied with it, but it's very it needs some attention. It needs some love. So I'm stoked to. Come on.
I love how clean it is, though. I like that.
Say it again.
I like how clean it is, though. It's very nice.
I do, but I'm excited because we're going completely different. It's going to be like, it's much more bold. Our primary color right now is like white, and the primary color is going to be like this really like dusty red, which I'm super stoked on. Yeah, it's going to be very different. I feel like the industry is at a point where, or at least I should say this, I feel like the Midwest is finally at a place where all the photographers that I really like, their work and their brand identity is becoming very differentiated. And I feel like 2 or 3 years ago, everybody looked kind of the same.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Cool. Definitely. Guys, have I taken up too much of your time? You guys feeling good?
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. What web building program do you all use? I am WordPress with a flow theme, WordPress theme. What else you got? What are you guys all using?
Use
Clothing.
Clothing.
Squarespace.
Sydney, Squarespace.
My
Squarespace.
website, Squarespace.
Andrea, what are you on?
I'm on Clothing.
Clothing. Cool.
Mhm.
Yep. All right, guys. I think we're out. I'm gonna put this up on YouTube. Does anybody watch? Oh no, you wouldn't have watched those because you're usually here. There's no reason for you to watch those. I can't decide if I should be trimming those or just, as of right now, I'm just like dumping them up there to let people just kind of dig around as they see fit. But we'll find out. People are watching them, so that's good.
It's cool.
We're on if you have questions. Bye.
Bye.